Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bang, coming to you live from the center of the universe, Coach's Corner, right here in Thunderbolt, Georgia. I'm back, y'all. Man, let me tell you, had a great vacation, a lot to talk about. Very interesting race there at Atlanta. Got some breaking NASCAR news we got this week, man. A lot of stuff to cover. As y'all know, the way we always started out, word of the day. I have no idea what the word of the day today is going to be. Last week's word of the day was driver, which, to be honest, I don't even remember last week's show. I was already well into the adult beverages, but it was driver. So if you played along, I'm sure I said that quite a few times. Probably got a little tipsy. So if you haven't played the way we play this, basically is my producer Lawrence is going to put a word right up here above my head. Every time I say that today's show, or if you're watching on YouTube on Sundays, whenever, take a sip of your favorite adult beverage. Like I said, appropriate, kid-friendly as well. If you're under 21, man, grab Kool-Aid, grab a Coke, grab an energy drink, grab whatever it is you'd like, man. Take a sip every time I say this word, and go ahead and get cranked up. Give your mom and dad a little bit of help for the day. But hey, today's word of the week, or word is going to be this. I have no idea what it is. We're going to get into it, see how many times it pops up through the cast today, and go from there, man. But thank you guys for tuning in as always. We're going to go ahead and get right on into it, man. NASCAR news. So just to get it started, run my little vacation down family reunion I do every year in Southern Illinois, man. Great time. Got to see a lot of friends and family up there. A lot of early morning or very late nights. Just depends on which side of 12 o'clock you're on. You like that one right there, don't you, Dad? Yeah, man. So I had a lot of good nights, a lot of good fun, man. Also got to see my great Uncle King came up there from Carbondale, Illinois. Brought me a bunch of throwback shirts, as you see I got on tonight, man. I got on that Bill Elliott shirt, his favorite driver. Also sent him home with a painting I had done by a buddy of mine here in Savannah. But just great to catch up with friends and family all the time, especially when you talk memories. Another cool thing I did, man, is I actually got to go see where my grandfather was buried. Never got to meet him while I was growing up. He died at a very early age, very young age. Actually went there in Carbondale, was one of the very first families found in that area. The Bain family goes way deep back in Carbondale. And come to find out, my grandfather was a pretty good dirt racer from around that area, man. Won a lot of races out that way, kind of was the king of the speedway, man. So really good stuff to learn about your family anytime, but did want to give a big shout out to all my friends, family down there in Southern Illinois, man. Love y'all. Can't wait for Sled Fest till next year, man. But hey, as we all know, if you watch that race on Sunday, man, Kurt Busch in that one Chip Ganassi racing for brings home a win, man. You know, the last race you're going to see on that, you know, that profile there at Atlanta means a lot to me. We'll get a little bit more into that here in just a second, but a big win there for Chip Ganassi and for Kurt Busch as well, man. There again, we're talking about the Bushes. You might as well talk about Kyle Busch as well. 102 Xfinity wins in a career. Says that was kind of his curtain call. Playing to stop at 100. Obviously, he had you know, obligations lined up through different sponsors. Had to run those races. 5 for 5 this year in Xfinity, man. Every Xfinity start he had this year, he won 102. My question is he really going to stop, or is he going to keep going? You know, I wouldn't mind to see him fill in for some of these very low-budget Xfinity teams and kind of help them boost their program a little bit. I always think that would be really cool, especially for these guys that like a Kyle Busch or like a Kevin Harvick, big name, established guy that still runs Xfinity a lot. Would love to see him run, you know, a very low-budget team and try to help them get in the right direction. But I got a feeling the Truck Series is still going to be open ball game probably till he wins 100 there, which we all know if he races 7 a year, he's going to win at least 5 out of those 7. I'll give that statistic. I got a feeling he's probably going to stop if he hits 100 in each. Very young man for what the sport is. Started early, got a lot of years left in him and a lot of talent out there to give. So we'll just have to see what that final number is. But probably at the end of the day, going to be the most winningest driver in history. I'm not going to say the greatest, the GOAT, but going to be the most winningest driver ever. The rest of the career plans out for Kyle Busch. But right now, he's doing great, man. Off to a great start. Hey, another big news, man. Added another winner in to that playoff scenario, man. I think that makes 12 or 13 this season. I tell you what, numbers are getting crunched. We're winding down. There's still a couple big-name guys out there that can make it 15 easy or 14. You got Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick both out there winless still. So, man, we could end up with 15 or 16 winners. We could end up with 16 guys that won a race this year. We just got to wait and see. But moving on to another thing, big news breaking to me today was going to be that extension that Kyle Larson signed with Hendrick Motorsports. We've all seen the dominating year he has this year. Went ahead and signed him on through 2023. So if anybody was worried about Kyle the Martian Larson out there going anywhere else, man, he's locked down to Hendrick at least for the next few seasons. And going to expect a championship run, if not this season, at least one more out of those 3 more he's got. I think it's very possible he could come out with multiple championships if he shows up at the right time, is consistent, does the job he needs to get done, and handles his business, man. But to me, that's going to be the biggest breaking news of the day. So thank you guys, as always, for tuning in, man. Like I say all the time, if this is the first time you're tuning in, please go like, share, follow all our social media. You can find us on Facebook. Go check out our YouTube channel, Rubbin' and Grubbin', no G's. Like I always say, we're country around here, ain't no G on there, man. IN is the way to do it. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Like I said, just a good time, all for donation, all for charity events, man. Not only do I get to sit up here and talk about NASCAR, something I love, we also get to raise money for a good cause that all stays local right here in Savannah, Georgia, man. So like, share, follow, check us out, man. Help us get some funds up, and thank you guys for tuning in, man. So as you guys know, if you watch this show, man, I am Atlanta, man. I go to Atlanta. I'm featured in all kinds of stuff, commercials, promos for Atlanta, commercials for NASCAR. Didn't make it up there this past race, but I am going to get a big cheers to Atlanta Motor Speedway because I had friends over there. I heard it was a great race, so big cheers to them, man. Oh, yeah. All right. So, like I said, man, not there but there in spirit, but I tell you what, my main sponsor here at Coach's Corner, Mr. Arbor Man himself, Parker Eccles, was in the house. He actually went to the spot. That's one of ours in the family. Said it was an absolutely great time. Didn't get to see too much of the Saturday race. I was driving home, saw the highlights on it. Pretty exciting, interesting race there, especially with teammates there between Hemrick and Kyle Busch. You know, whatever may happen, Busch pushed him, especially when it's getting down to the nitty-gritty. You know that guy's going to go, man, and it's time to go. And if you slip up, you slip up, and it just so happened it was a little slip up, and Hemrick ended up getting taken out. No hard feelings by him, which I greatly appreciated. Wasn't any crying, and Kyle Busch kind of owned up to it. You know, even Hemrick said he spun the tires a little bit. He got him a little crazy there, but that's the name of the game late there at Atlanta, man. Clean air is king. Got to go, got to go. And just didn't play out good for him. But from that race to Sunday's race, Parker said it was absolutely phenomenal. Had a great time. And trust and believe, bud, I'm checking into those spots for you, man. We're going to do the same thing here again in March. And Atlanta, man, will be live action in that one. And ready to give them hell as I always do, man. So there it is. Swear bucket. As you said, you know, hell, we'll call that swear wood. Every time I curse on the show, we throw $1 in. All the money raised between that and our checker flag for charity goes to the charity given this year. Help save one of our own. So if you randomly hear me cuss and throw dollars in there, that's what the swear bucket's for, man. But I tell you what, man, Quaker State 400 here at Atlanta is going to go down in history, man. That was the last race that is going to be under this configuration held there at Atlanta. I was fortunate enough to be able to see the actual last true oval they had there at Atlanta. Swapped around in 96 or 97 there. Got to see the first race there. I was really bummed I didn't get to see the last race on that configuration. But I am really excited to see what these changes that NASCAR is going to make to Atlanta really does to the track. Shrinking, I think, that turn size down and increasing that banking. It's almost going to become Darlington-esque, if you ask. It's definitely not going to be Darlington. Darlington, its own beast, the lady in black, but going to be very mild. Those straightaways don't shrink much. So you're going to see a lot of guys funneling into something they're used to being 15 feet wider. That's going to cause a lot of mayhem. I think we just shrunk it down from 3, possibly 4, down to 2, and making that move 3 if you're really going to press it, man. But it's going to be really fast. It's going to have a ton of grip there for a few years. It's going to be really interesting, man. Glad for NASCAR to finally make the move. As you saw on Sunday's race, if you watch, we had chunks of asphalt coming up. Never safe, not only for fans, drivers, anybody involved. So it was definitely time. It had been time. That was the oldest racing surface on the circuit. So it was definitely time to be done. In my opinion, I was really hoping they were going to do something like they've done with Miami and Kansas. Progressive, you know, maybe make that bottom 24 to 28 to maybe even 30 at the top. and give them very multiple grooves and very high bank to get those speeds wound up. But hey, man, 28 all the way through, the steepest intermediate track on the circuit, first of its kind, next generation track for a next generation car. One, I think it's going to depend on how that car actually drives and handles to see what kind of racing we're going to get out of Atlanta. But I really hope that, it didn't change too much. Obviously, with that new asphalt, we're going to be fast for a few years. Hot summers, cold winters here in northern Georgia. I'm going to tell you what, man, it will not take long for that track to weather. Once it starts weathering there again, it is going to chew tires just like it did on Sunday. So it's going to be interesting, man, to see where it goes from here. But as I always say, in every sport, change comes with time. If you don't change, you fall behind. And we got to change in NASCAR. They're making the change. Like I said, next-gen track, next-gen car, we're going to have to see how it plays out. But hopefully for my sake and Atlanta, man, and fans of Atlanta Motor Speedway, it just turns that racing even better than what it already is, man. So excited for that. As I said earlier, man, Kurt Busch was there and able to go ahead and steal that win from his brother. Hey, man, the guy had a fast car all day, Ganassi Chevy. Pretty sure that's a Hendrick motor in those Ganassis this year. But at the end of the day, man, what a big win for him to announce a couple weeks ago, hey, sold the whole operation to Trackhouse Racing. Turn around, don't really know the futures of Kurt Busch or Ross Chastain yet. Ross Chastain had good runs, and then to show up here at Atlanta where Kurt Busch has won multiple races. To go out and have a really good run, man, and show what Ganassi Chevy can do. It also showed, man, that hey, we're in these playoffs, man. We're trying to do what we can do. What a feel-good story it would be for one of these Ganassi guys and to go out and win that championship for Chip Ganassi there in NASCAR. I doubt it's going to happen. If you ask me, I'll give it maybe a 40% chance, 30% chance, man. But at the end of the day, it would be kind of cool to see as a racing fan and what Ganassi has done for all of motorsports as well. Just got to wait and see how that plays out. But even bigger news on top of that, which I want to ask all the people out there watching, all fans of NASCAR. So coming down to the end of that race there, you saw Kyle Busch definitely tracking his brother back down. Probably going to make the pass there again. Comes up on Ross Chastain. Kind of gives Kurt Busch the inside lane there. His lane choice kind of holds Kyle up a little bit, plays a little teammates there. Now what I want to ask you guys, is that a fair or foul? Is that right or wrong, man? In my eyes, I'm going to tell you like this, it's fair all day. They took the radio communication out because of what we've seen happen, manipulating races or manipulating playoff races that happened at, what was it, Michael Waltrip there towards the end of there, Martin Truex Jr., and the other driver, can't even remember who it was at the time, doing different things, radio communication, code word, boom, spin out, cause a wreck, do this, give a spot up, whatever it may be. NASCAR did away with that. So there's no radio communication as far as going between, but you obviously look back and know these cars you drive every day. When you see your teammate coming up for a win and a guy like Kyle Busch or a stronger car or organization, if you would, coming up to maybe steal that win, hey man, I'm not saying go out and block it all day, but I feel like he blocked it fair. He did his thing fair. If you're that good, if Kyle Busch was that good, he should have never gave the lead up to Kurt in the first place. So go and get it. Now with that being said, if Kyle Busch was to take Ross Chastain out in the first turn they go to and wreck him, hey man, that's part of the game too. So I would be on the same side of the fence, fair all the way, but I'd love to hear what you guys got to say. Write a comment here live on Facebook, or go on the YouTube channel when we play that, man. Check us out, drop a comment on that as well. Would love to hear what you guys think, fair or foul. Like I said, to me, it's fair all day. Doesn't matter what team or what foot the shoe's on. At the end of the day, it was fair all day, man. So, a little bit of drama coming out of there. We're just going to have to see how that plays, man. If you watched the race on Sunday, you all know lane choice on these restarts was key. It seemed like that upper groove, the outside lane there on restarts could really get the momentum going and pass quite a few cars on the inside, and then settle down to the inside and run their race if you would. But I tell you what, man, like I said there again, restarts were king. Going to see with this new pavement, going to be a lot of grit, man. Restarts are going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts on these races coming up, man. So, and there again, as we always know, when you go to Atlanta, one of the biggest tire tracks there are, I would say it and Darlington, a couple other tracks, man, very abrasive. Tires mean absolutely everything. The fall off is insane. Man, you saw a lot of guys driving them down to the cord, man. A lot of long tire runs in Atlanta, which you do see full fuel runs. But man, I tell you what, these tires held up pretty good. So kudos to Goodyear for what they've done. Didn't see many blowouts all weekend long, but man, they threaded them out there to the last little bit, last little grip, man. Loved it. Great tire there at Atlanta, man. Hopefully something similar in these new cars, because that was a great tire. Another guy I give a big shout out to, man, is Martin Truex Jr. I had him in the game of, my dad had him in the game of skill up here, man. I tell you what a troublesome day he had. Starting in the rear, driving that car all the way up there, having a problem, going back, passing more cars, going back again, passing more cars. I tell you what, had he ever been able to keep that track position that he had, I tell you, at the end of the day, I really 100% feel like we would be talking about Martin Truex Jr. winning Atlanta. It just seemed like there towards the end of that run, he was coming on, man. Had he been a little bit closer, I think he would have been within striking distance, if not on a restart, definitely there later on in the race. But that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, man. Wasn't in the right place, right time. Got to tighten that pit crew up, clean stops, track position, got to hold it down, man. Can't get those penalties, can't have bad stops. But another great run, bringing it home third, man. So there again, getting in right into the point standings, man. You guys know, basically right now through this time of year, we're not going to have huge changes unless some guys go out and win again. We did have a couple little swaps. So as of the regular season right now, we got Denny Hamlin, we got Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, then we got William Byron, Chase Elliott rounding out that top 5 on the regular season points. Joey Logano drops down there to the 6th place. So that's regular season. Like I said, that's cool. Regular season championship. Hey, awesome. We're all in it for the last 10, man, for those playoffs. So getting right into that playoff picture. Kyle Larson jumps up to that 1st place spot as if it was any kind of surprise. Absolutely dominating races, wins and stages. Truex comes in 2nd. Candyman Kyle Busch 3rd. Denny Hamlin 4th. Still holding strong without a win right there in 4th place in playoff picture, which blows my mind. Chase Elliott right there in 5th. And then outside looking in is the guy that's got 3 wins. Alex Bowman there is 6th place, man. So getting a little crazy up there, just jostling back in between. A few changes there in that top 5, 6 drivers. But, you know, there again, like I said, it's only going to change if one of those guys go out and win week to week. Then we'll have some big changes. But I will tell you this, the bubble watch changed tremendously this week. Not so much on the guy that's in and who's out, but Kurt Busch solidified his place in with that win. Austin Dillon remains on the bubble, but the gap grew tremendously, man. So you got, like I said, there again, 16 and 17 is huge. Pretty sure it's Benedetto and Ross Chastain or Ricky Stenhouse. Pretty sure it's one of those 2 guys that are Busher and damn, I just said the other. Anyway, brain fart. Those 2 guys are on the outside looking in. It grew from like 25 and 35 points or 40 points. Now we're up to almost 100 points, man. So it is going to be really, really difficult for these guys to bounce back and make the chase just strictly off of points. I'm not saying it's impossible yet, because it's not. Obviously, we can go out and we can have a guy like, you know, McDowell or somebody has some really bad runs. Somebody sneak a win in. You know, Austin Dillon there on the bubble can have bad runs, DNFs, 2 or 3 back-to-back, and these guys have decent runs. It'll shrink it up. But the clock is winding down, man. The sand's falling out of the hourglass, and it is getting time to do it. So these guys on the outside looking in, Benedetto and Chris Buescher, you've got to make your moves now. Keep doing what you're doing. Run a little bit better. If you got a 15th place, man, sneak it out to 12th. Man, come on, man. We got to get it going, lock something in, man. But Austin Dillon right now on the bubble holding it strong, man. So we'll have to see how it goes. Brings us into one of my favorite parts of the show, man. The checkered flag for charity. The whole reason really that we started this show, other than the outside of talking NASCAR and talking some coaches' food. But I tell you what, man, like I said, my favorite part, checkered flag for charity, if you do not know how it works, basically what we do here is the Rubbin' and Grubbin' team. We're going to take a car number, the winning car number every week. We're going to donate that winning car number into our swear bucket. We accumulate that, and at the end of the season, we give it to our chosen charity or a fundraiser that we're doing at the time. As you guys all know, if you've tuned in, it's Help Save One of Our Own. Local charity here in Savannah, does great things, has helped numerous times up here at Coach's Corner for Becca Bash and Randy Palooza. Man, I tell you what, these guys, this group of guys and business owners do some amazing things that all stays local right here in Savannah around our hometown. John and Adele Henderson are great enough that this year we all just decided to say, hey, they help us all the time. We're going to help save one of our own, man. And like I said, two of the most charitable people I've ever met in my life, John and Adele Henderson, do a lot of good things, not only for the community, do a lot of good things for patrons up here at Coaches as well. So it gives me pleasure to be able to do this for them and as Coaches as a whole. But hey, man, so far we're a total up to $3,273, man, which is not bad for a little Wednesday night NASCAR show and the following that we have. But as I say all the time, this isn't possible without you guys out there watching, without the patrons at Coach's Corner that comes up and do the donates, and without the guys that are out there during the shows, man, that buy into our charities, do our raffles, and just help support any cause that we have or that John and Adele has here at Coach's, man. So thank you guys a lot. As you know, Kurt Busch in the 1-1. If you watch the show, you know anything under 20, man, we donate that. 21 is never going to be good enough for rubbing and grubbing. Boom. Another $20 goes in, and there again, we're total one more time, $3,273 raised right here on Rubbin' and Grubbin', man. Like I said, thank you guys so much for what you do. Please come in and donate. Like I say all the time, nickels, pennies, dimes, 10s, 20s, 150s, does not matter. Anything you got to give, please give. All stays local. Next time you're in Coaches for good beer, good food, good fun with friends, man, find your waitress, find your bartender, find a staff member and say, hey, I just want to make a donation to help save one of our own. Round that total up to the nearest dollar, man. Like I said, it does not matter. However we can get it, we'll take it. Man, it is just a great cause, great thing that they do here that all stays local in the community. And as I said, I can talk all day, but it's not possible without you guys that come into Coaches and donate. So please show up, get your feel good for the day, donate for help save one of our own, man. So if you guys are still staying tuned, man, thank you. I got to get Lawrence to beer me real quick. Please, sir. Which that's like a unicorn on the show now, because usually I just don't stop talking long enough to get beers. Now I got beers, man. Woo. Good throw, sir. Thank you, sir. But I tell you what, bring this into one of my favorite segments of the show, man. If you guys have been watching for a while, who's hot and who's not, man. And we got a couple little different things to talk about on there today. Might surprise you a little bit on the who's not a driver that's out there. Might surprise you how I did the who's hot. But just, you know, like I said, drop a little comment, drop a line. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. So we'll start with the who's hot as we always do. And I'm going to tell you right now, Chevrolet is just hot, man. It really honestly doesn't matter if it's the Hendricks. It really doesn't matter if it's there again, Ganassi you just saw with Kurt Busch winning this week. Right now, Chevrolet is absolutely dominating. When you go back and look at the wins that we've had through the season, what we've done so far, Chevrolet, nobody's even coming close, man. You got Truex over there with 3 wins. Kyle Busch got a couple wins. Man, I tell you what, at the end of the day, Chevrolet is murdering it right now. Now, with that being said, I've also seen that those Toyotas, those JGRs, are starting to heat up a little bit, so got to keep an eye on that. But, man, I tell you what, will it come to a switching point where we're going to see Chevrolet struggle a little bit and everybody else catch up? Or are these Hendricks / Ganassi / you know, excuse me, RCR cars going to continue to do what they're doing, dominate that playoff field as Chevrolet is doing? At the end of the day, I feel like it's going to be a Hendrick driver all day, wins championship. Would love to hear what you guys think. Drop a comment, man. There again, staying on the who's hot list, the Candy Man, Kyle Busch. As I said last week, right now he's so high he's melting, bro. If you do not think this guy's going to get at least 2 more wins before the end of the season, I'm going to say maybe around 5, at least 4, I'm going to think he's going to end up with. I tell you what, you're crazy, man. Second place finishes. This guy has strung a great string of finishes together. I really feel like him and Ben Bashore has got the communication aspect figured out for the most part. I know this man right here, when he loses a race like he won this past weekend in Atlanta, he's coming back with a vengeance. And not only is he coming back with a vengeance, man, it's going to a racetrack he's won at multiple times in his career. I tell you what, this guy is going to be on fire. You better watch out for Kyle Busch here about the next 5 weeks, because he is coming, brother. Mark my words. Getting ready to contend with some Kyle Larson. It probably will be the Kyle and Kyle show. We just going to have to watch, but Candy Man's coming, man. Martin Truex Jr. moves right back into that limelight. I tell you what, not that I take anything anything away from that man as well. There again, just not always been one of my favorite drivers. Nothing against him. I don't have any complaints like I do against Sean Err's favorite driver, the Candy Man. But at the end of the day, it's just not my cup of tea. But I tell you what, to disappear, have 3 wins, kind of have some bad runs, put it there together in Atlanta, and I tell you what, made the show for a lot of folks. I can guarantee you, if you were there watching that in person, that 19 car put on a show, not only starting in the rear at the start to drive up to the top 10, have a bad pit stop, penalty, whatever it may be, drop back track position again, boom, drive all the way back up through there, bad track position again, boom, another restart, drive all the way back up there, had one of the strongest cars there late in the race to finish 3rd. I tell you what, man, big shout out to Martin Truex Jr. and that 19 car over there, Joe Gibbs, because right now the man's staying on the hot list, man. He's made his way back into the limelight, like I said, made his way back in doing big things. We'll see if it continues. Moving into New Hampshire, where, you know, he's had some success. Toyota as a whole has had some success. Just going to have to see if he can keep that ball rolling in the right direction. But there again, Martin Truex Jr. making that hot list. Now we're getting right into the who's not. And this is a name, like I said, that hadn't made the negative side of this list yet this year. I don't even know if he's made the positive, but I tell you what, he's been neutral. He's been doing his thing. Still running strong. Don't get me wrong, good race car driver, but I think right now he's on the knot. He's cooling off. But that brings me right here to the 22 car of Joey Logano, man. Really bad run there at Atlanta. Had to come in and pit. I don't know if they got off strategy, had a tire. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a tire issue. But at the end of the day, got off sequence there, and it cost him dearly, man. I think he brought it home in 19th place there at Atlanta, which I've seen him have really good runs there. Teammate there in the spring we saw in Ryan Blaney come back to win the race. So I really thought the 22, the strongest Penske car in my opinion, was going to have a good run. He hasn't. He's had quite a few of mediocre runs here in the last few weeks. Don't know if they're just missing on setup. Don't know if they're just missing on strategy. Obviously you can't control the tire coming down, so that's kind of out of his hands. But right now he's making that first driver on the who's not list. There again, coming to New Hampshire. Probably the closest home track I would think that Joey Logano had. Man, we just got to see if he can get it done again. But for right now, he's on the not list. So we'll get back at it again next week, see if he changes spots, see if anything changes. Right now, it's who's not. Again, for another week, Kevin Harvick, man. There again, goes to Atlanta, probably one of the most dominating racetracks. And when you think of Kevin Harvick, you obviously think of Atlanta not only for that great win that he had there right after Earnhardt Sr.'s death, but just the dominations he's had in the last decade and how good that car has been and people not being able to touch him. But it's not been that way as of late. You know, in the spring, first race there in Atlanta, or that race last year, you saw him get one. But I tell you what, man, just not the dominating Kevin Harvick we're seeing. And until he goes out and gets a win, he's probably going to stay on the cold, the who's not, all season long. And I hate it. George Zipper is a huge fan out there. Kevin Harvick, huge fan of rubbing and grubbing. I hate it for you, Jordan, if you're watching. My apologies. You got to go down, go to bed tonight, pray, put your hands together, pray for your man Kevin Harvick getting back in the good side, man. But for right now, he's bad. 24 of William Byron, man. Strung a lot of really good runs, top 10s there, was going on that record, you know, consecutive top 10s in a row, putting his name into the history books. Most consistent Hendrick driver of the season, outside of maybe Kyle Larson. Didn't have the wins that everybody else has yet, but he does have that one very consistent. Bad run in Atlanta again. I think 20th, 27th. I have no idea. Right around, yeah, outside the 20th, top 20, man. Can't do that, man. Like I said, is this a sign that a few of these Hendrick cars are moving in the wrong direction? He's on the downward trend, or is it just a bump in the road and a hiccup, man, and going to be climbing right back up that mountain? So there again, just got to wait and see. We got New Hampshire coming up. Not a very good track for Chevrolet. We'll get into that here in just a few minutes. But I tell you what, right now, William Byron's got some work to do, man. He's got to get it put together and keep that streak going. Still second good in the playoffs, no worries there. But you never want to roll into the playoffs on a downward slope, man. You always want to be streaking in the upward direction. So there again, we're just going to have to wait and see. So this is where I always give a shout out to my big buddy. But Mr. Parker Eccles over at Arbor Man Tree Service. But we're going to wait 1 minute while I get a good sip of this beer, and then I'll get to that. All right, bringing us right into it, man. Big shout out to my boy Parker Eccles over there at Arbor Man Tree Service. main sponsor of Rubbing and Grubbing outside of coaches, man. I tell you what, this guy does everything asked of him for our charities, for our raffles, for our fundraisers, for our barbecue competitions. Everything we do, not only does he show up, he shows out as well, man. Last barbecue competition, man, cooked a enormous amount of food, was trying to feed everybody that was there competing, people that were just there having a good time, needing something to eat. Man, what a big heart from a big person, great guy, man. This guy right here is the man. Parker, love you, brother. Hope you guys had a blast up there in Atlanta. Hopefully we get to go do it together here coming up soon. But I'm going to work on a little something, man. We'll get that squared up, brother. Love you, man. But like I say all the time, tree service here in Savannah, anything, no job too big, too small, no tree too tall, make sure you give Parker a call all the damn time, man. Like I said, we just had Elsa come through while I was on vacation, thank God. Probably did a little bit of damage to quite a few people's property. If you're still looking out there for cleanup, removal, doesn't matter if it's trimming back some branches, doesn't matter if it's stump grinding, removing whole trees, man, or just getting an estimate on maybe some work that you need to get done, make sure you give Parker over there, Arbor Man Tree Service, a call. Man, like I said, great dude, locally owned, locally operated, man. That's the man for anything you need tree service-wise. Make sure you give him a holler. Love you, brother. Thank you, man. So, hope you guys are having a good time enjoying tonight. Have no idea what that word of the day was, but if it's a certain word, I'm sure I've said it quite numerous times tonight, which we all get a trip of. My great uncle actually was on to me about saying man so much, so I'm working on that a little bit, not dropping it all the time, but if man was the word, you're probably going to be really drunk before about halfway through the show. So, but anyways, man. Moving right into what we got going on this week, coming into New Hampshire, man, the Foxwood Resort Casino 301. Very unique track, short style racing, man, going to be very interesting. There again, as I say, one of the coolest trophies on the circuit, man, the lobster himself, boy. If you want to talk about a lobster, this is a lobster, man. I've never seen it in person, but I bet the tail on this bad boy is this big, damn big. I'm going to go ahead and say it, that damn big, boom, and probably this damn long. Boom, we throwing two of them in there, back-to-back dams, and I ain't got a third, so it's an IOU. But I'm telling you right now, one of the coolest trophies in NASCAR, man. I think it's awesome. Man, just a historic track, led to some really great finishes there. We've seen it between Kyle Busch and Dale Jr. We've seen all kinds of stuff go down at New Hampshire. Now, last time we were here, Brad Keselowski went up and stunk up the whole show. We're going to have to see if it's the same story right here this week, coming into Sunday's race. But I tell you what, man, never seems to disappoint at all, man. So Candyman Kyle Busch himself is starting on the pole. Probably one of his favorite places is the pole. Get my little humor right there. But I tell you what, at the end of the day, him starting out front like that, man, probably going to dominate this race for a good part. So we'll have to see where my top 5 is and who I got number 1. But I tell you what, with that guy starting out front, getting a lead on the field, man, it's going to be an interesting race. It's going to be hard to beat. Usually a strong pack for Penske as well as those Toyotas, man. Chevrolet has struggled very, very badly throughout the last 15 years there, man. Going all the way back last 10 years, Chevrolet has won one. 2016 there with Kevin Harvick. He won in a Chevrolet. It wasn't 2 years later. The year later, they swapped over to Ford. But that was the last Chevrolet win there. Before that, you got to go all the way back, I think, to 2010 or 12. For somebody to win in a Chevrolet. So Chevrolet is not known to go out and get the job done here at New Hampshire. We're going to see with the dominance that Hendrick has shown throughout the season, if they can carry it in there again to a track that is not known for Chevrolet winners, if they can bring that thunder they've had all season long and go ahead and steal one away from these Gibbs Toyotas or these Penske Fords. But I tell you what, Chevrolet's got a lot of work to do for those numbers in the last 10, 12, 13, 14 races. Oof, man, I tell you what, it's going to be ugly to do. So there again, not a strong track for them. 301 laps total. Stage 1 comes to an end at lap 75. Stage 2 will end at lap 185, and then the final checker flag will wave at lap 301, man. So they added that extra lap there over some time in the past few years, kind of added a little excitement. Hadn't quite played out that way yet since they've done that, so I'm waiting to see when 300 and then 301 is where it's like the job gets done, somebody steals a win, wrecks somebody. Really ready for that kind of drama yet this year, man. We really hadn't had that yet this year, going and stealing a win in a way, being way faster, taking a guy completely out, going and taking those checkers. I'm ready for it, man. Maybe it'll happen in New Hampshire. We're going to have to wait and see, but so getting straight into that top 5, Atlanta man's top 5. As I told you, man, Not my favorite race car driver, not my cup of tea. I just alluded to it. The guy starting on the pole, been showing very, very good runs over the last 10, 12 weeks, 8 weeks there in NASCAR. Kyle Busch is going to land it, the Candyman himself, Mr. M&M's. Too sweet to be beat. Mr. Kyle Busch starts on the first place, man. Number one on my list, which you will not hear often just because of how much I do not like the personality behind the wheel, but I never doubt the talent. And if I'm a betting man, I'm taking him one on my list. 2 will be the guy that dominated that race last year, and that is going to be the Blue Deuce, hopefully Miller time there at New Hampshire this year. Man, dominated this race last year. We'll just have to see if he can, bring it back and do it all over again, man. The guy's got a really good short track run from last year. If they can make those changes, bring better equipment in, or tweak that car a little bit more, hey, man, could easily go out and get it done. Hadn't heard much from him, but this might be the week, man. There again, 3 for me, Mr. Martin Truex Jr., 19 car, really good run there at Atlanta. Going to feed off that, feed right into New Hampshire where Toyota's known to get some wins. See if he can go out and get the job done. Now, if you watch the show, I know you guys are asking where my Hendrick guys are at because it's been Hendrick heavy there for 10 weeks now. I got Hendrick guys right here. 4 got to be the 5 of Kyle Larson, right? I mean, he's gone out and showed performance in tracks that he's not historically known for doing. Seems like that Hendrick equipment has really boosted him being able to go out and show off the driver talent that he's had all along. It's really being shown right here in the best Chevy equipment in the sport. Probably, arguably, the best equipment in the sport at Hendrick. So if he can go out and get it done here at New Hampshire, I'm going to tell you guys, go ahead, sign your name, write the amount, check all the boxes you want. The championship's probably going to end up with the 5, man. We'll have to wait and see. Got a long way to go, but you heard it here first. Atlanta, man, I'll tell you, if he goes out and wins New Hampshire, check the box. He's probably going to win it all, man. 5 for me. Little Bill Elliott is my uncle. Uncle King likes to call him, man. The 9 car got to round out my top 5. You guys know very few and far between he will ever be left out. So we're going to bring it home. I really hope Chase goes out and wins New Hampshire. Do it for me, my man. Georgia boy to Georgia boy. I love it. And go ahead and do it for Uncle King as well, man, because he loves you too, brother. But dark horses, I got 2 dark horses. One's a mediocre dark horse in that 48. We've seen Alex Bowman play spoiler through so many races this year late. Very similar, somewhat style race tracks. So expect that 48 to have a very good run later on here coming up at New Hampshire this Sunday. And another guy that's had a couple bad runs in a row, I really expect to rebound right here, Daniel Suarez, the 99 at Trackhouse. Got a rebound, brother. Had a really good bad run. Kind of got caught up in some BS here at Atlanta. Not so great there a couple weeks before. Had a couple bad ones mixed with some good ones. Got to get the consistency down. Got to get the job done. I look for the 99 to have a really good, strong run there again. Big shout out to my boy PJ Zuko over there at ESPN 1043 Coastal, man, with green, white, checkered. Hey, if you guys are tuning in and you're local, or if you want to check it out, man, you can go on SoundCloud. Man, I tell you what, 1043 ESPN every Sunday morning, 9 to 9:30. Me and PJ Zuko himself, well, actually PJ Zuko and myself, breaking it down for anything new in NASCAR that's happened since Wednesday on Rubbin' and Grubbin'. And on top of that, man, bringing a new little feel for it, do some little back and forth stuff, and also getting you amped up and hyped up for that race on Sunday. Every Sunday morning, 9 to 9:30, ESPN 1043. You can check it out on the radio. You can check it out on SoundCloud. You can check it out streaming live from the ESPN Coastal webpage as well, man. So, like I said, you guys share the love, spread it out, check in on it, man. That's going to wrap it up, man. As we're getting into it, make sure you stay tuned on, oh, man, the grubbing. Here we go, man. One of my favorites right here. We're going to throw this in as I bust down the getaways, man. The gator bait, man. So this is a great wrap. I tell you what, the way I roll, buffalo chicken, hot as they can get it, feta cheese, lettuce, tomato, onions, all rolled with cheese melted. Tots is a must, man. Come up here to Coach's and get it. As soon as I get this done, I'm going to be grubbing on it. Hey, man. Like I said, thanks to everybody out there for tuning in, man. Big shout out to the Coach's Corner Sports Network. We got Coach Carl DeMasi and Kyle Lawson doing the Who's on First Base. Coach has got prior obligations tonight, not going to be in. So there again, if you're usually used to that sports report, man, not happening tonight. But I'm sure Coach will get you caught up on Saturday. Like I said, anything MLB from the Bananas to the Braves to local to any major league team, Coach is going to run that baseball news down. 19th hole, the Erb brothers, man, like I said, hopefully they get on some stuff, start doing a little bit more than what they do the Masters. It is a lot that happens, but hopefully maybe they start doing a little weekend round, maybe a Sunday morning show, heading into that last round, who you should bet on for Sunday, who's the tournament favorite, who's coming out with that win. Would love to see it there from the 19th hole, but big shout out to Sean and Brent Erb, two of my favorite folks up here at Coaches, man. Love you guys. And obviously, Hot Grits, Travis and Spencer, man, always showing love, showing out. Them boys are crazy. They're running down everything, giving you everything up to date on sports, local and live and national that goes down, and possibly talking a lot of stuff they get into in the weekends and through the week. Them boys are nuts, a little younger than me, man. If I had, first off, I don't tell stories on the camera from my 20s, I promise you that, because none of them need to be on this camera. But I tell you what, at the end of the day, great show, man. Make sure you go out and show your love for all those sports Coaches Sport Network shows, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope y'all have a great rest of the work week, man. Ready for Sunday, New Hampshire. Like I said, Foxwood Casino 301 going down. Going to see what happens, man. Thank you guys. Like, share, follow all our stuff. Tune in next Wednesday right here, 6 o'clock live from the center of the universe, Coach's Corner. Big shout out and thanks to John and Dale Henderson. Thank you guys so much. Till then, love y'all. See y'all next week, man.